Hey everybody, what's up? I'm going to talk about Trump and the tariffs in a minute. Actually, I got a lot to say on this, so I might have to do it in a couple of videos. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit it all in this one video. I don't want to make these videos too long. I think some of you probably tune out. But before I start on the tariffs, I want to mention some news. Got a couple of nice emails I got one from a subscriber who told me, Mike, when I started with your report a little less than a year and a half ago, I never traded Forex in my life. I opened a little $2,000 Forex account, and now it is up to 16,000. So he had an 8-fold increase in less than a year and a half. I mean, if that guy continues, and that, by the way, that was before this week when now we're having another sell-off in the dollar. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But that's an 8-fold increase in less than a year and a half. If that guy stays on that trajectory, he's a millionaire in 5 years or a little bit less. Okay, so very impressive. Number two. I got another email this morning. A subscriber told me he made $250,000 on his long Japanese yen position because of me. Now, many of you probably know, certainly my subscribers know, and those of you who have been following my videos, I have been saying for a long time that the Japanese yen is going higher. And that view has been against nearly everybody out there talking about Japan's debt and the money printing and all that garbage. I said that the policies of the Bank of Japan, negative interest rates, massive monthly asset purchases, the fiscal policies of, the government, basically balanced budgets, all that stuff, that's bullish for the currency. And we have been long the yen. As a matter of fact, I had a guy last week ask me when it went down to 106, and we had not seen that $106 yen level in a while. He said, Mike, should I cover? I got a really big profit. I said, no, hold it. Of course, today we are down to a new 15-month low on the yen, and none of those policies have reversed. Okay, they're still in effect. Bank of Japan, still with its monthly asset purchases, negative interest rates. The Japanese fiscal authorities, even they have bought into this fake, ridiculous idea that they're out of money. They're listening to these ridiculous Western-educated economists who are telling them that, so those policies are just going to continue to strengthen the yen. So the guy emails me, made $250,000 on his long yen position. So another huge success for MMT Trader, my call, etc. All right, let's talk about the Trump tariffs. Everybody's going hysterical over that. I don't know why they should, because he was very clear during his campaign that, we were getting ripped off, and, he's going to level the playing field and all that stuff. Right now, let me just start off with a disclaimer. I am not opposed to tariffs necessarily if they result in higher domestic output and if they incentivize higher wages. Okay, we have plenty of spare capacity here. I think if you look at industrial capacity utilization in the United States, it's about 75% or 76%. So, we're using way below our capacity, which is dumb. All right, if you were running a company, if you were the CEO of a company and you were just utilizing 3/4 of that business's potential, people would be asking questions like, what kind of a manager are you? What kind of a CEO are you? Like, you got to maximize the business's potential. You're only using 3/4. Why not use the full amount? All right, you don't want to push over the full amount because then, you could have breakdowns in production. Your equipment could fail, whatever. But why are you using only 74, 75%? So number one, to employ tariffs as a means to up domestic production, I'm not against that. And the second thing is, if you can ensure that you're going to get higher wages, right? Because tariffs effectively raise the price of those imported goods, which that's bad because that's inflationary. So you're getting less. You think you're getting more, but you're actually getting less. However, if wages go up commensurate with the price increase, and let's say domestic cost for whatever, steel, aluminum, that's what he's putting the tariffs on. If that goes up, if wages go up an equal amount, then there is no burden, okay? You could still afford the same amount. And that's what it's all about, people. It's not about, and here's the thing that kind of bugs me about the whole thing, because Trump is going about this on the belief that, hey, we're out of money. We're getting ripped off and we got to get our money back, which is crazy. It's not about the money. We have unlimited amounts of money because the United States is an issuer of the U.S. dollar. We have no financial constraint in dollar terms, but what we do need is an abundance of the real assets. That means an abundance of the goods and services, because that defines our real wealth, and it defines our standard of living as a nation. All right. So when you slap tariffs on something, unless you can ensure that it will be offset by a higher amount of domestic output at a fair price, or unless you can ensure that wages will rise commensurate with the increased cost of that good, then we end up losing. We don't win. All right? And he doesn't seem to understand this. And that's why I always say it's very bad to have a businessman as president, because they think like a businessman, and the government is not, or should not be, run like a profit-seeking enterprise. I mean, it's just, you get into all kinds of problems like that. All kinds of problems like that. All right, a guy who goes in there thinking we're out of money when we have unlimited financial resources, and the real thing we have to be thinking about is, do we have an abundance of the goods and services, the real goods and services that define our standard of living? That's the thing, all right? If you run out of those, then you're in big trouble, all right? If you run out of food, you're in trouble. If you run out of fresh water, you're in trouble. If you run out of consumer goods, it's not going to be a comfortable life. If you run out of housing, it's not going to be a comfortable life for a lot of people. If you run out of clothing or textiles, if you run out of technology, we become like a third world nation. Those are the things that really matter, right? I mean, what's the money? We use the money to acquire those things. That defines our standard of living. What defines a poor country? Simple. You go there, they got dirt roads. People are living in mud huts. There's no medical care. The water is polluted. They don't have any fresh water. Like, that defines poverty, all right? What defines a modern, affluent society? We have all those things. We have health care. We have infrastructure, good infrastructure. We have, education, right? People live in beautiful housing. That's what it's about. So he doesn't seem to understand that. He thinks, we're getting ripped off. We got to get money. We got to get those dollars back from those Chinese. Sorry. So that's bad. I'm not against the tariffs per se, as long as you have a plan whereby you can ensure higher domestic output. Now, if those tariffs are just meant to line the pockets of the steel companies and the aluminum companies, and that's it, if those tariffs are intended only to line the pockets of the shareholders and the CEOs and not Americans broadly, we lose as a nation. All right, that's the way you have to think of it. So that's that. Now, I spoke about the yen, $250,000. By the way, people, if you're interested in all this stuff, if you're interested in an education about this, if you're interested in making money, machen moolah, go sign up for a 30-day free trial of my report, MMT Trader. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Go to pitbulleconomics.com, sign up for a 30-day free trial. You could download all the back issues, etc., etc. So I've had a lot of these emails recently, and they're very gratifying to me when I get people who, you know, have talked to me, have told me about their successes. And a lot of them, you know, they either come to me with zero experience in this area or have come to me with negative experiences in the past. Like they've been basically losing money their whole entire lives. All right, and they've been following the crowd. By the way, a lot of these guys, in fact, the guy who made $250,000, he was telling me about he had some other service, you know, classic. These guys didn't understand MMT. They were looking at their lines on the charts or whatever it was. Lost this guy a ton of money. So he was very happy to come over to me. That's it for this video. There's a lot to be said on this tariff stuff. By the way, all the people who are, and I don't buy the hysteria, like we're going to go in a trade war and all that stuff. And a lot of that stuff is being, you know, look at the people who are talking about that. You got guys like Larry Kudlow. I mean, that guy's a joke. I don't even know why he has a job anymore. So when I hear people like that getting all hysterical about, oh, we're going to have a trade war, I just think that the reality of that happening is pretty low. Anyway, I know what I want to talk about in my next video, and that's going to be about the worries, the concerns, oh my God, of the Chinese selling treasuries in retaliation. I'm going to talk about why not only is that not going to happen, but that is impossible. All right? You're going to have to watch that one. This is going to be a great video. I see you guys later. Bye-bye.